I've lived in New York City my whole life.
Honestly, I barely recognize the city anymore.
It used to have a lot more grit, you know?
New York is always changing, and that's what I love about it.
I miss the old New York.
In 1931, Mayor Walker saw an ad for the Empire State Building in a Sears Roebuck catalog and ordered it with next-day shipping.
So they airdropped this thing right on 33rd Street, but there was a man standing right under it eating an ice cream cone.
They dropped the whole building right on top of this guy.
He lived for a few more years, half stuck under the building, and us kids used to come around and give him ice cream. Nice guy.
Back in the 60s, a dinosaur skeleton at the Museum of Natural History still had some meat on it.
I miss that meat.
When I was a kid, the 9/11 memorial wasn't nearly as nice as it is now.
Gentrification has definitely changed the city.
I remember when they tore down Bob Dylan to put up a Starbucks.
Things used to be simpler before those big-name stores came in.
When I was a kid growing up in New York, you'd get your milk from the milkman and your hair from the hairman.
I think rock and roll died a little bit when they shut down GCD, GM, GY, GJ, GFG, KF, GBGs.
Oh, Blondie and Television and Talking Heads. So many legendary bands started out there.
It was basically a rite of passage to go there as a teenager and become a founding member of the Ramones.
I was in the Ramones.
Everyone was in the Ramones back then. It was a wild time.
Most of the great New York delis are gone now. My family always went to Groisman's.
Best deli in the world, no question.
I remember the Power Rangers used to hold court in the big booth at Groitzman's.
One time, the owner of the place brought his son into the deli, and when he turned his back, one of the Power Rangers ate his son.
The owner was so mad. He said, "Power Rangers, did you eat my son?" That does it. You are kicked out of here for good. But they just kept coming back.
Those guys were untouchable back then.
That sure was a different time.
New York has changed so much, it's hard to believe it's the same city I grew up in, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
New York is always changing, and no one knows what it will change into next. I predict it'll be a basketball.
New York will always be New York.